It's me again. I'm not going to like invite people this time because I just want to like share something with you. So I'm writing this. Hold on, let me save it because I'd be pissed if it doesn't save. Hold on, let me save it. Um, I am writing this autobiography, and I decided that if I'm going to be writing about my life, I'm just going to make it into a book, dude. Like, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat shit and, like, there's so much stuff that has happened in my life. Like, obviously, I'm not going to write a 1,000-page book right now, but I just wanted to, like, people to have, like, a very clear understanding. And I've decided to name the book Out of the Ashes, how my abusers helped me to, or how my abusers helped me to evolve. And so that's going to be the name of my book. It's going to be called Out of the Ashes. I've already got 2 chapters down. I had to, in this second chapter, it's called Using Drugs and Other Things to Escape Reality. And in this chapter, I pulled a memory. I'm like nervous even talking about it. I pulled a memory up, and I wasn't able to connect it to like my relationship right now, but it was hard for me. So before I even wrote it, like I started crying, and I had to like go on a walk. I walked around the block, and I felt the trees around me, and I like prayed, and I said like, God help me like get through this, because this is like something I don't want to remember. And but I did, and I wrote it down on paper, and I know that it's going to help people. I know that whatever I'm writing right now is going to help a lot of women and men, um, just people in general. But I just want to share with you one of the traumas that I had, because now that I have it on paper, I feel like I can talk about it, and how it affects me later on as an adult. So when I was 14 years old, I lived with a stripper named Jenny here in San Diego. And the reason why I moved in with her is because my mom and her boyfriend were fighting, and he was like beating her up, and the cops were coming. So she asked me to go dispose of her little black bag. And of course, because I'm 14 and I'm naturally curious person, I'm just nosy. I opened the bag, and there was like needles and dope and all this stuff in there. So like I threw it away, and then later on when the cops left, like my mom fucking got mad at me and screamed at me for throwing her drugs away, but she asked me to dispose of them in the first place. So I ended up moving out of the apartment, and I moved into another apartment in the complex at 14 years old, and I was living with a stripper named Jenny. Like I lied about my age. Well, I said I was 15, so still like it wasn't that big of a difference. But like she was a stripper, and she was into ecstasy, and we drank a lot. And I mean, I remember a time where she took me to Little Darlings in La Mesa, and wanted me to be a stripper at 14. So as I'm writing this autobiography, like I was like, okay, I'm going to see why like my I have to dive into traumas. I understand that, and because it's all part of my story. So I remember a time when I lived with her. Oh God, I got paid by a Mexican to like literally fondle and like suck on my breast, and I later on in life, I felt so ashamed and disgusted with myself that later on in life, like I couldn't breastfeed my children. I still don't even know if I ever have more children, if I'm gonna be able to breastfeed them, because it makes me feel gross. I connect it with sexuality, and so I'm afraid that it's going to turn me on, and and I just feel very disgusting. And as I was diving into my memories and doing research like on myself, um, I tie that to that moment when I was a child, and I had a grown ass man touching me like that, and paying me to do it. Um, and I didn't realize how much it affected me as an adult, to where I couldn't breastfeed my children because of it. Um, trauma number 2 that I had to do in this chapter was I met this man named Chris, and when I lived with Jenny, and I was 14 and he was 25, and he reminds JC reminds me a lot of him. He was very tall, very skinny, well endowed, I'm not gonna lie. And I remember like being drunk and being on ecstasy and being in the back bedroom with him, and he like undressed me, and even though I was like under the influence, I was very scared and I didn't want to have sex with him, and he like got naked, and I just remember like feeling like when I first saw him, like how afraid I was of that, because he was a grown-ass man and I was a little girl. And so when I had to write this memory down, a part of, because it's going in my autobiography, because this is a trauma that I did not heal from, and I took it into my relationship. I've taken it into all my relationships, and that's why they don't fucking work. And like I just remember when I saw him like the first time, like seeing an actual like grown ass man naked, that I just remember saying like I was scared and I didn't want to do this, and he just kept like shushing me and telling me that was gonna be okay, and I like finally gave in and I had sex with him, and it hurt so bad and I just didn't want to be there, and I felt gross and I was scared. And so when I was writing this in my autobiography, like I realized like my trauma is that when I'm like sexually engaged with like JC, I feel scared, and like not scared, but just like it's not very, like I don't have that intimacy there, because he reminds me a lot of Chris, and I just didn't realize that and didn't connect it until I was starting to write it, that I'm very, like, we've been together 10 years and I still don't like to be naked in front of him. I feel very like trying to like cover up my body because it feels wrong to me, and like I didn't realize that I brought that trauma into my relationship because I never did any self-healing and I never worked on it. But part of writing this autobiography, I know it's going to be painful because I had remembering things that I buried a long time ago, and I just remember being a scared little girl and I just wanted my mom, and like this was a grown-ass man. And I remember like coming out of the bedroom, and like the girl that I lived with was like laughing about it, like, oh, did you guys fuck? And it's like, I just remember like trying to laugh about it, and then I went to the bathroom and I cried. And I cried. And part of that, like, the sick part about it is that I still wanted him to want me afterwards. And I just, I've sabotaged a lot of my life and a lot of things that like are good because I just throw myself away before somebody else can do that. And like part of my recovery and part of like learning about myself is that like it wasn't okay what happened to me. And like if my story and my like what I'm writing can just like help one person, like then I just know that that's what has to happen. And like I know that I'm gonna survive these memories because I've already survived it actually happening. But like part of the trauma experience is like I have so much PTSD, like I'm literally shaking like talking to you guys about this, but this is part of my growth. And like writing this autobiography is hard because it's like, dude, like I didn't realize like how traumatized I was until I started to write it, and I felt like I was gonna puke, and then I had to go on a walk and I had to pray and like just ask for like the strength to be able to put this down on paper, because like in my relationships, like after that, I just remember like always drinking, always being on drugs, always fucking up relationships, like constantly like abusing, like Nick was a minor when I got pregnant, like, and using like alcohol as an excuse um to to just mask that like I was becoming like my abusers. And like um so to put myself out there and be vulnerable on paper, especially to this program that I'm trying to get into, like I don't know these people, and it's hard for me to admit that I like don't have to just carry this on, like carry it for the rest of my life, because I do want my relationship to work out and I do want to stay sober, and I can't bury this anymore. And I just like want to apologize to my younger self, because like I just I should have just known better, but I was a child, and I just lost my faith, and I lost faith in my mother. Like my mom should have been there, and like it just really, really traumatized me, and I just wanted to share that with you guys because um, I don't know, I just want to uh, give back like the strength like that I have, and I only have because of my higher power and remaining sober, and like being able to talk about these traumas and the abuse, like, and not using, and not drinking, and not getting high, and doing something healthy like going on a walk. Like it just shows me my growth with my, oh my god. And it just kind of gives people a better understanding of like why I am the way I am. And I don't know, like I think writing this autobiography is going to be the best for me, because I'm literally pulling memories that were traumatic, and I didn't realize that they were traumatic, or I did and I just forgot. So I do love you guys. I'm gonna finish writing, so I'm on chapter 3, and this whole chapter that I'm writing is dedicated to JC. So I hope that one day you guys get to read it. I feel like this next chapter that I'm writing is like my redeeming chapter, and I just want people to like really know like what's going on. So love and light. I need to like, I'm not gonna pop this. Bye guys.